Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me today. How many of y'all want to be engineers? All of you? All but one, maybe. All right. What kind of engineers do y'all want to be? Do you know? Any thought?
Like computer engineering or
Computer? Okay. Or the other one? Software?
Yeah, software.
Okay. Any other ideas? Chemical? Okay. Electrical? Those are harder ones. Mechanical? Okay. All right, well, that's more like what I do. What else? Anyone else? All right. It's changed a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, but when I was in college, there were probably 5 or so engineering disciplines, maybe 6. There was agricultural, civil engineering, electrical, mechanical, chemical, and we had computer science. We didn't call it engineering at the time. And my particular specialty is civil engineering, and civil engineering is a huge area. Huge area. Everything outside, all the infrastructure. Now, you know what infrastructure is? What's infrastructure? What? Buildings, roads, sewers, tunnels, all that stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been doing this since 1983, believe it or not. That is a long time. But you know, I've been able to do, because I'm a civil engineer, and then I became what's known as a geotechnical engineer, which specializes in earth structures and the relationship of things to the earth and foundations. So I've been able to learn a lot about many, many, many things. And you know, I like to travel around a little bit. This is actually a photograph. Whenever I go somewhere, I look at engineering stuff. So I was on a bicycle trip in Colorado with some friends, and you know what that is behind me there? What do you think this is? 10-4, you got it. Wastewater treatment facility. Very important thing. That is a pollution control facility. Now, no one thinks about it, but engineers make life livable for the rest of society. That's what we do. You all flush the toilet every day. You brush your teeth. Where does that water go? Where does it go from there? Right, we can't just put that in the river. So you see here's the dirty water comes in. Usually it's in some kind of a holding pond or a tank. And then guess what? It goes into this building and all kinds of processes occur. And wastewater is treated with bacteria, microbes, and other things that consume those nutrients that you flush down the toilet, because we can't just discharge that stuff to the river. So, that's a fun thing. Well, excuse me. That's a fun thing for me whenever I go anywhere, is I like to look at engineering stuff. Again, Colorado, that was near Woody Creek, Colorado, wastewater treatment plant. I had to stop and take a picture. So, engineering's a broad, broad area. It requires you think. It requires you learn a process. And I think that's what engineering is. It teaches you to think logically. Now, y'all may think you think logically today, but I can guarantee you if you go into engineering school, you will come out, it's like going in the Army. You're going to come out and you're going to have a specific way of analyzing a problem. You're going to say, what do I know about this problem? What do I need to find out about this problem? How do I get from here to here? What are the processes in between? That's all engineering is. Taking science and math and figuring out how to make life better for you and your mom and dad and your friends. So who is this gentleman here? Y'all know who he is? You should, I think. Abe Lincoln. I love Abe Lincoln. He was a really smart guy. For a lawyer, you know, he was a lawyer, but a really smart guy. And he said this, which has been one of my mottos in life. I don't think much of a person who is no smarter today than yesterday. So in other words, every day, ladies and gentlemen, we should try and learn something new. And as an engineer, you have plenty of opportunities for that. Every single day is a new day. Learn more stuff. Okay, So we talked a little bit about infrastructure, and I take a lot of pictures when I go around and look at infrastructure. I'll just highlight a couple things. A little hard to see. This is a road. This, I was just talking to Miss Bushy about this. This was a house in Mecklenburg, Charlotte, North Carolina. Now we have a big problem with drainage and flooding in Henrico County. They've been addressing this problem through smart engineers for a long time, and we went down there to learn from them because we don't want to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. Other people have already done this. The old saying, don't reinvent the wheel. So we're going to go down there and we learn. So this house is kind of unique because the foundation vents, the air conditioning, and all that are higher than most houses. And the crawl space is taller. The porch is taller. Why do you think that is? Because they wanted to get a better view, maybe? No. It's because of flooding. So this house is built in a floodplain, and those houses were flooded over time. So the federal government, through the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, encouraged houses to be lifted up higher. We lift all the electrical, the plumbing, the heating and air conditioning, the porch, everything lifted up out of that floodplain so that there's not property damage. Because again, engineering is about making life better for people. So this is a big box culvert under a road, and this is a stream restoration. Now, you don't think about it when you drive over these culverts and bridges, but we have about 80 of them in the county. They all have to be inspected, usually once or twice every other year or every year, depending on how bad they are. If you don't do that, they eventually what? Fall down? Right. Stream restorations. Anyone know why we do stream restorations? You even have any clue what a stream restoration is? What do you think it is?
Restoring the water.
That's right. That's right. What has happened? Because we weren't always as smart as we are today. So we didn't have regulations back 30, 40 years ago about streams. We built stuff right on top of them, which led to problems with erosion and habitat loss. So now we have a program in Henrico County, engineers do this, of restoring streams to a natural stream condition, which takes engineering. It's kind of cool. So after a few years, that stream will be back to a stream with woods and floodplain and birds and creatures next to it, instead of being an ugly, eroded urban stream. And you'll see these as you go around. Also, this is my specialty, earth structures. We are building the largest infrastructure project the county has ever done out in Cumberland County. We're building a large reservoir and dam. So what you see here, this is the James River out here. These are intake screens, and these are the valve boxes. But what we do is we take water from the river and we pump it into the reservoir. And that water then becomes our drinking water in times of drought. So we're going to store water in a very large reservoir, and then when the river level is down, we're going to release that water. It'll flow by gravity. How cool is this? Flow by gravity in the river to our water treatment plant. We don't have to pump it. We don't have to pay for electricity. So we store it up here in Cumberland County to the west of us, and then when it's dry, like right now it's kind of dry, we let the water go, flows by gravity, and then becomes your drinking water. I think that's pretty smart. Couple of other things, you know, what I do for a living is not always very glamorous, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you that right now. I get a lot of mud on my boots. I've walked around in stuff that you probably don't want to know about, but you know, we have to restore these creeks. Here's another creek. This is what I was telling you. When we restore streams, look at this stream. This is an urban stream on Broad Street. There's nothing there. There's no vegetation. It's eroded. It's kind of ugly. It needs help. And this, out in Verina, we have our wastewater treatment plant. which you were smart enough to recognize. And that's what we call a primary clarifier. So when you flush the toilet or things go down the drain, the primary clarifier helps to remove the heavier stuff. And then it goes on through the microbiology where the bugs eat the nutrients. So again, I'm endlessly fascinated with this stuff. I had another opportunity, this was actually 8 years ago, to go to Portland, Oregon. Anyone know what's cool about Portland? They have light rail, that's exactly right. Also, they have fantastic bicycle and pedestrian facilities. Now this crosswalk is cool. It goes like you would normally from corner to corner. It also goes straight across the diagonal in the middle. So this is an engineering solution. A lot of people walking across that intersection going in all directions. So what they do is the red light stops all the cars. So all the people can go at once. You can go diagonally right through the middle of the intersection. And that's a traffic engineering solution to solving that congestion. Get those people across that intersection safely, stop those cars from using the intersection for a minute, and get it all taken care of at once. Then we let all the cars go. So these are things, again, science and math to solve a practical problem to make it safer and better for people. That light rail goes straight to the airport. I was able to go visit Portland, didn't have to rent a car. I was able to walk, I was able to use the light rail and use the bus. So it was fantastic. I wish we had some of the things that Portland has, but we'll get there. We are getting there. So, a lot of what I do every day, this is a lady I had to go, you can see she's got erosion in her backyard. So I get calls all the time. Hey, I've got an erosion problem. Can you come out and fix it? Sometimes maybe, sometimes not. But I go and talk to a lot of people and trying to give them advice. This is fun because when I was an engineering student, this is test equipment. Any idea what we're testing with that? Take a guess. Huh? Cement. Concrete, actually. So, engineers are very precise. Cement is the gray powder in the mix. Concrete is the mixture of sand, gravel, water, and cement. But when I was an engineering student, I learned a lot because I used to work in my off times on projects, and I tested concrete. So that's the testing equipment. And this is some asphalt. Again, a lady in the neighborhood called us out and said, we got a problem with the road's falling apart. What can you do to fix it? So, addressing everyday problems to make life better for people. So, again, I'm showing you a little travelogue too as we go. This is a South Dakota. This is a rails to trails. Anyone know what a rails to trails is? We have in this country a lot of old railroads, they're everywhere, that aren't used anymore. So the federal government enacted a law, and they call it Rails to Trails law, where the states or the counties can reclaim some of that old railroad that's not being used and build trails. So in this case, out in South Dakota, they built this Mickelson Trail. It's over 100 miles long. It's about 12 feet wide, and it's stone. You can ride a bicycle on it, you can run, you can walk, you can push a stroller. It goes right through the Black Hills of South Dakota, and it's fantastic. These are some of the things you'll see, on that trail. People want to get out in nature, they want to be able to do so safely. So engineers have to address that need of our residents to get out there and be able to walk or jog or ride a bicycle without having to compete with cars. Because it'd be no fun looking at that waterfall at that busy intersection, would it? So, a few more photographs. Snow removal. Believe it or not, engineers work on that too. So, It's more than just pushing snow and spreading salt. You got to think about how do the trucks get around, how do we make sure we covered everything, we don't miss anything, and there's a lot of logistics involved just in taking care of a snow job. Sidewalk we're building, this is a sewer rehabilitating. Many of our sewers in this county and water pipes are 50 years old. When water pipes and sewer pipes start getting more than 50 years old, they're getting to the end of their life, and then you start having breaks and lines collapse. So we're doing a lot of fixing those, which means we dig up streets, we put in more modern materials. This is the main water line coming into that dam that I showed you. And I think that's a 6 foot, it might be 7, I can't remember, foot diameter pipe. So you can imagine how much water that can transmit. This is a project we did over on Church Road. We took Church Road and we made it safe for bicycles and pedestrians by putting in crosswalks. We put these islands in the road, and why do you think we did that? Right in the middle of the road we put a concrete island. Any idea? So you can walk halfway. We call that a refuge, very fancy word, but the pedestrian can walk halfway across and be safe in the middle of the road. Well, hopefully safe. Hopefully no drivers drive over that thing. It'll hurt your car. And then they can cross the other half. Makes it much better for pedestrians. It also slows traffic down, because when cars see this island in the middle of the road coming at them, they have a tendency to slow down. So that's a good thing. Again, some more pictures of dams and bridges and box culverts. I take a lot of pictures of box culverts. There must be something wrong with me, right? That's what I do. But ladies and gentlemen, I will say this, and I'll leave you with this thought. If you love your job and you love what you do for a living, and you're fascinated by the things I just showed you, or other engineering aspects, you're going to do great. And it won't be work, it will be fun.